Some internet legends are just stories. This one started leaving comments in the real world. We've all heard stories born in the dark corners of the web. But what happens when one of them logs off and comes looking for you? It began, as these things do, on an anonymous image board. A place designed for fleeting thoughts and forgotten images. The thread was titled, "I think something is in my network." The original post was simple. A single corrupted JPEG file and a few lines of text. The user, Anon3301, claimed his router lights were blinking in strange patterns and his devices felt slow, laggy, as if something was consuming bandwidth from the inside. The image itself was a nightmare of digital decay. At first glance, it was just noise. A mess of green and black pixels streaked with magenta data moshing artifacts. It looked like a photograph of a dark room, taken with a broken camera. But the human eye is designed to find patterns in chaos. People saw a pattern in that file. Deep within the noise, if you unfocused your eyes, you could see it. A shape. Tall, impossibly thin, standing in what looked like a long hallway. There were no discernible features, except for one. A wide, white curve near the top of the shape. It was a smile. A grin made of pure static, stretched unnaturally wide. The community dubbed him the Smiling Man. For the first 24 hours, it was a game. A fun, collaborative ghost story. Users tried to clean the image, running it through filters, attempting to denoise the file to get a clearer look. But every attempt just made it worse. The background noise would lessen, but the figure would become sharper, darker. The smile, wider. This is where our main subject enters the story. A user who went by the handle Hexvessel. Hexvessel wasn't an artist. He was a data analyst. He ignored the visual aspect of the image and instead tore open the file itself, looking at the raw code, the metadata. He was looking for a digital fingerprint. Most of it was gibberish, as expected from a corrupted file. But buried deep inside, hidden in the EXIF data where a camera model should be listed, was a repeating string of binary. It wasn't code. It was a message. When translated to ASCII, the binary string spelled out two characters, over and over again, a colon and a closing parenthesis. A smiley face, the entity's first joke. The day after Hexvessel posted his findings, the original user, Anon3301, vanished. His account was deleted. The thread returned a 404 error. The story of the Smiling Man became a minor internet legend. A creepy footnote. For 6 months, the silence was absolute. The trail went cold. Then, Hexvessel started a new thread. The title was just 2 words. It's real. The post contained a single photograph, taken with a shaky phone camera. It showed his cluttered desk, a computer monitor, a keyboard, an empty coffee mug. Taped to the center of his monitor was a small square of paper, printed on a cheap inkjet printer. On it was the pixelated, corrupted face of the Smiling Man, the same static grin from the original image. Hexvessel swore he lived alone. He claimed his doors were locked, his windows barred. His printer hadn't even been plugged in. Beneath the printout, another piece of paper was tucked under his keyboard. It was from an old dot matrix printer, the kind with holes on the sides. On it was a single, freshly typed message. Just a colon and a closing parenthesis. The first real-world comment. This is when the panic started. This was no longer a story to be passively observed. It was an event. Hexvessel began documenting everything, his posts becoming more frequent, more frantic. He described phenomena that seemed to bridge the gap between the digital and the physical. He wrote about a constant, low-frequency hum that vibrated through the walls of his apartment. It was the kind of sound an old CRT monitor makes, but amplified 1,000 times. He complained of the smell of ozone, the scent of a coming thunderstorm, trapped in his sealed room. His webcam would activate on its own, the little green light blinking in the dark. He covered it with tape, but sometimes he'd come back to find the tape peeled off, lying on his desk, sticky side up. Then he uploaded the video. A 30-second clip from his security camera software, which he'd set up to record his room while he slept. The timestamp reads 3:33 a.m. What he captured changed the investigation forever. It provided the first, terrifying glimpse of the thing itself. The footage is grainy, black and white. We see Hex Vessel asleep in his bed. For the first 20 seconds, nothing happens. Then, the video feed flickers, washed out with digital static. The hum on the audio track intensifies. For a single frame, 1/30th of a second, the static resolves. In the corner of the room, where the wall meets the ceiling, a figure is standing. It is impossibly tall, its limbs too long, its form shifting and indistinct like a heat haze. And from that shifting noise, a pale, pixelated grin stares directly at the camera. The video then cuts back to the empty room. The figure is gone. When Hex Vessel woke up the next morning, there was a new comment waiting for him. This one wasn't on paper. A perfect, pixelated smiley face was now imprinted on the back of his hand, like a digital scar. He uploaded a picture, his hand trembling violently. In his post, he described the mark as feeling strangely cold, with an unusual scent like heated plastic. This is when other users, the ones most active in the investigation, began reporting strange phenomena. A user in Germany found a smiley face drawn in the condensation on his window. Another in Brazil swore she could hear a dot matrix printer running in her empty apartment. The legend was no longer just targeting Hex Vessel. It was spreading. It was a virus, and the forum was the carrier. To look too closely at the smiling man was to invite it into your own network, your own home. Hex Vessel knew he was running out of time. He decided to go on the offensive. He had to find the source. He went back to the original image, not the JPEG, but the raw data. He believed the origin, the server where the file was first uploaded, had to be significant. He spent 72 hours straight, cross-referencing dead server logs and archived IP addresses. And he found it. A ghost signal. An IP address that technically shouldn't exist, pinging from a defunct data center on the outskirts of the Mojave Desert. A server farm owned by a tech company that went bankrupt in 1999. His final post was a picture of a packed bag in the passenger seat of his car and a single line of text. Going to the source. I'll live stream when I get there. Find the signal. Thousands of people were waiting when the live stream went active 12 hours later. The feed was titled Hex Vessel, the root server. The stream opens to a first-person view. The camera is shaky, attached to Hex Vessel's chest. We hear his ragged breathing and the crunch of his boots on gravel. The sun is setting, casting long, distorted shadows. Before him stands a vast, windowless concrete building. A rusted sign declares Black Ridge Data. The front doors are chained shut, but one of the loading bay doors has been wrenched open, a dark maw leading into the facility. He slips inside. The air is thick with the smell of dust and decay, but underneath it is something else. The sharp, electric scent of ozone. And the hum. It's deafening in here, a physical pressure against his eardrums. The place should have been dead for decades. No power, no connection. Something inside was very much alive. He walks through rows and rows of silent server racks, monoliths of dead technology. But as his flashlight passes over them, small LEDs flicker to life. Red, green, amber. They pulse in unison, like a slow, rhythmic heartbeat. He sees the comments. They're everywhere, not on paper, but etched directly into the world. A smiley face is scratched into the dusty floor. Another is formed by a tangle of loose Ethernet cables on a table. The most unsettling sight was on a wall. A massive smiley face, 10 feet tall, appeared to be composed of thousands of moths, their dusty wings arranged to form the iconic eerie grin. The environment wasn't just haunted. It was being actively rewritten by this digital entity. He follows the hum, the increasing pressure in the air, deeper into the facility. He finds the main server room. The door is slightly ajar. A pale, flickering light spills out from within. The room is a cathedral of obsolete technology. The hum is so loud it distorts the microphone. In the center of the room, a single ancient CRT monitor sits on a pedestal, the only thing truly active. Its screen glows with a sickly green light. He approaches it slowly. The screen is displaying a single, command line style smiley face, a green colon and a green parenthesis blinking. As he gets closer, the text on the screen vanishes. This is the last clear footage we have of Hex Vessel. The last few seconds of the stream are difficult to analyze. New text begins to type itself onto the monitor. Not a comment, but a question. Do you see me? As the last letter appears, the camera feed is flooded with digital artifacts. The image tears and glitches. Through the noise, we can see a reflection on the monitor's dark screen. It's Hex Vessel. But standing directly behind him is a tall, wavering shape of pure static. A shape with a wide, white grin. Hex Vessel lets out a cry of pure terror, distorted into a synthetic shriek by the data loss. The camera tumbles to the floor, pointing at the ceiling. The last thing it captures is the smiling man leaning into view, its face filling the entire frame before the signal abruptly cuts out. The stream ended. Hex Vessel was never seen or heard from again. His profile, his posts, and every file he ever uploaded seemed to vanish from the internet. It's as if he never existed. The internet had scrubbed him clean. The search for the smiling man was over. But the story was not. Months passed. The internet, as it always does, forgot. New creators rose. New channels took hold, filling the void. But a signal doesn't die. It just finds a new frequency. Finds a new vessel. Thank you for watching. Your session has been logged.